What's going on, guys? This is Brendan Tan from Hillsong Young and Free, and today I'm talking about my touring setup. Today I'm going to be going over what cymbals I use, what drums I use, what sticks I play, and what electronics I use. By the way, I'm going to be doing a second video about tuning, and I'm going to play more and go in depth about why I have the setup that I have. All you got to do is put your email in the link below and we'll send that to you straight away. Also, in the second video, I'm going to be doing a playthrough of every little thing so you can see how I play the kit live with the SPD. Okay, I'm going to start with the drums and what I play on tour. So the kit I'm using at the moment is a Ludwig Vistalite. The kick is a 22 by 14 inch. The rack tom is a 13 by 9 and the floor is a 16 by 16. The heads I'm using on this kit, on the bass drum, I've got a Evans EMAD on the batter head, and on the reso head, I've got a EQ3. On the rack tom, on both the toms, I actually use a Evans G2. Right now we're using the G2 clears. In the past I've used the coateds, but we're kind of mucking around trying new stuff. And on the bottom, generally I'll always use an Evans G1 clear. It's a little bit thinner than the G2. And that's my head choice for my drums. For my snare, I've been using a Blackbird 14 by 7. This is a signature snare that they made for me. It's Coke bottle green. It's got my signature on it. It's pretty cool. The heads I use on it, on the top I use a Evans HD Drive, been doing that now for 4 or 5 years, and on the reso head I'm using a Hazy 300. The strainers, I use the Pure Sounds, I just love them, I don't think there's much better than that. With all the drums there's a little bit of dampening on everything. I personally like to take the overtones out of the drums. On the snare you can see I've got a couple of things on it. I've got a snare weight, this is the Brass Lock 4, and I've got the 40s with it. And I also have a moon gel. Generally, on the toms, as you can see as well, I'm using 2 moon gels on each. And on the floor, I've got an M80 snare weight. It kind of does the same thing as Gaff does the same thing as moon gel does. A little bit nicer, and you can kind of control how much overtone you want out of it. M80 is cool. Obviously, if it's too much, this is kind of a cool trick. You can flip it in half. And there's little things like that that just help on the fly if you need to change how your drums sound. So here's a bit of what the kit sounds like. I'm gonna do the kick. Here's the rack tom. And here's the floor tom. A little bit of what the snare sounds like. I'm gonna play the drums together, no cymbals, just so you can hear what it sounds like in the context of a groove. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing now is going through my cymbal setup and what cymbals I use. I play heartbeat cymbals. I've been doing that for about 3 years now. I'm going to start with the hats. I actually use 18-inch crashes. So on the top, I've got an 18-inch jazz crash, and the bottom is an 18-inch epic crash. I'm going to play a little bit of the hat so you can hear what it sounds like. My crashes, on the left, I'm actually using a 22-inch custom dry light ride, which has been a new addition for me as of 4 weeks ago. I'll play a bit of it so you can hear it. Over on the right, I'm playing a 26-inch jazz ride. I'll play a bit of it so you can hear what it sounds like. As you can see, it's pretty thin, it's pretty washy. I feel like I've always gravitated towards lighter cymbals and something that is a bit darker, not too bright. Same thing as my right crash here, it's actually a 24-inch jazz ride. I ordered a thinner one so I can use it as a crash, but also as a ride. So over here on the left, I have a Roland SPD-SX. I run it with the Roland dual trigger on the snare and the Roland dual trigger on the kick. Basically, it's going to be a blend. When we play live, it's a blend of my real drums, and on the kick, I have an electronic sample. I'll play that for you so you can hear it. And on the snare, I've got an electronic snare sample, so you can hear that. And then the SPD. So here's what the kit's gonna sound like together. Okay, so I'm going to move on to what sticks I use. I play ProMark by Dario. These ones are a signature model, which is really cool. It's actually also a ProMark 747B, so it's kind of like an Extreme 5B. I like the heavier stick. I like having that extra length. It's probably an inch longer than the 5As and the 5Es, so that's cool. Metronome-wise, I'm using a Tama rhythm watch. I've used that now basically since I got my first metronome. I've always been on a Tama. My favorite one, that's kind of the one I use. And last of all, I have my Vistalite drum basics case, and in that I have my in-ears. The in-ears I'm using are Ultimate ears. In here I have UE11s, that's what I use generally most of the time. When we're on tour, we actually have a combined case with all our ears in it, and we all have the reference models for the UE. So when we're on tour, I'll be on the reference Ultimate ears, but when we're at home playing at church, I'll usually use the UE11s. Also in my basics, I have batteries, moon gels, I've got a light, and I've got my Vistalite drum key. It recently came out, probably one of my favorite keys that I've ever used. Super smooth, super nice. And that's about it. Now we're gonna move on to part 2, where I talk about tuning, and I'm gonna be playing through every little thing. Click the link below, enter your email, I'm gonna send that straight to you.